It'll be impossible with just us two. As Deebwa's polearm swung through the air towards the patrolling Hobs, they deftly dodged his attack with surprising agility. As Deebwa's attack met with swift evasion from the Hobs, frustration boiled within him. Ugh, really? He's doing this on purpose, right? I wasn't saying that I wanted to do this alone. Amidst the chaos of battle, Deebwa unleashed a relentless series of attacks, aiming to strike down the Hob that had dared to counterattack. With a furious cry, he swung his polearm with all his might, striking the Hob and sending it crashing to the ground. Seeing the Hob lying prone before him, Deebwa thought victory was within his grasp. "It's over!" he exclaimed triumphantly as he prepared to deliver the finishing blow. But to his astonishment, the Hob still possessed enough strength to evade his attack and retaliate with a fierce counterattack. The Hob's blow struck true, sending Deebwa flying through the air until he collided with a nearby tree. Despite the pain, Deebwa refused to yield, rising to his feet to face his adversary once more. With renewed determination, he engaged the Hob in a fierce exchange of blows, refusing to back down until victory was firmly in his grasp. As Deebwa and El-paume departed and left the dead Hobs behind, he complained, "I thought you would interfere to help me." El-paume, maintaining his calm demeanor, replied, "It seemed like you had the situation under control. Thanks to that, you now know they're not impossible to handle." Deebwa, clearly frustrated, retorted, "No my ass. I'm starting to doubt this mission even more. If there's an army of those things." As they approached the area littered with bodies, Deebwa couldn't contain his shock. "What is all this? Aren't all of them from the Cygnus Knights? What in the world happened here?" Spotting a survivor amidst the carnage, he quickly pointed it out to El-paume. "Boss, over there." El-paume hurried over to the wounded survivor and asked, "What happened here? Did you guys get attacked by a Hob?" Struggling to breathe, the man managed to respond, "Hob? It wasn't anything like that. It was a trolling. Trolling. Some people enter these unknown gates that others cannot. Their sole purpose is to collect information and attack the other adventurers. Since the gate would disappear after their escape, all the evidence of their wrongdoings would disappear along with it. However, this time it's pretty much a fight without a winner, since they would have to clear this difficult gate while minimal manpower. Having wasted energy, and even if they were clear it, and to somehow bring out a unique item, they wouldn't be able to escape the suspicions of those who are outside." Seated inside his office, Abyss pondered to himself, "This doesn't make sense. Are they after all the elites of the merchant unions? That doesn't make sense. Even if that is their goal, if word was to get out somehow, they would have to fight a war with all the other merchant unions." Taking a puff of his cigarette, he continued, "A dangerous gamble like that isn't something a merchant union would partake in. Does that mean there's some bigger meaning in this?" As the man contemplated, Deebwa suddenly exclaimed, "Could it be? Boss, I don't think I see that girl." Meanwhile, the man, with a regretful expression, remarked, "Damn it, it's all my fault. To think that we had a traitor amongst us." El-paume, maintaining his calm demeanor, questioned, "I don't understand. Why is she, who is part of the Cygnus Knights, trolling?" The survivor responded, "I don't get it either. It's still hard for me to process. Just why would Lady Kiri? However, if I think back on things, the order she made at the gate, part of her plan, entrance seemed to be a before finishing things up here. She said it herself. That she is a follower of the Black Magician." Deebwa couldn't hide his astonishment. Black Magician? Black Magician. 800 years ago, he who was a transcendent, threatened the Maple World with his many followers. To stop him, the 6 heroes took charge, and the fight was fully turned around against the Black Magician and his forces when he and the 6 heroes were sealed. With the follower army in chaos, the allied forces started to push back, clearing out all the followers of the Black Magician. Any citizen of the Maple World would know it as such. Hearing the man's remark, El-paume quickly responded, "I guess this isn't the time to worry about the monsters. We need to find her. Are you coming with us? You should prepare yourself to fight when we meet her." With resolve on his face, the man replied, "That's just what I want." Meanwhile, in another part of the gate, William greeted Lady Kiri. "Oh, welcome. I was waiting for you, Lady Kiri." He acknowledged her role in dealing with the ribbon pigs and continued, "Haha, looks like you're the one who dealt with the ribbon pigs. We were able to proceed with our plans easily thanks to everyone being split up, right? Did you receive the present that we sent? Now we can slowly wrap this up." Confronting William and his party members, Kiri pointed her sword towards them and demanded, "Who are you guys?" Supporting the man as they walked, Deebwa reassured him, "We can slow down if you're hurting too much. The boss went ahead anyway." Grateful for the support, the man replied, "Thank you, but I'm fine." Deebwa nodded, saying, "Don't worry, Our boss is amazing at searching for things. I'm sure we'll be able to meet her soon. The man smiled weakly and responded, I see. That's good. In the midst of the intense battle, Kiri faced off against members of William's party. Observing the clash, William couldn't help but remark, amazing? Or is this what's expected of a training captain of the Cygnus Knights? But I wonder how long she'll be able to keep this up. As Kiri prepared to unleash her sword technique, her opponent grew impatient and launched an attack. However, with swift and precise swordplay, Kiri swiftly defeated one of her enemies. Panting heavily, Kiri demanded, state your purpose if you don't want to end up dead here. Annoyed by her resilience, William barked orders to his subordinates. Noisy, what are you guys doing? Hurry up and kill her. The rest of William's subordinates moved to overwhelm the exhausted Kiri, but just before they could reach her, a familiar figure emerged. It was Dibwa, swiftly coming to Kiri's rescue and eliminating William's subordinates with remarkable speed and skill. In the midst of their conversation, Dibwa reassured the man, don't worry, our boss is amazing at searching for things. I'm sure we'll be able to meet her soon. The man responded with a sinister grin as he readied his blade and struck at the defenseless Dibwa, taunting, give my regards to Kiri when you meet her. But just before the man could harm Dibwa, with swift intervention, El-paume's magic arrow severed the man's hand just before he could strike Dibwa, saving Dibwa from harm. Confused by the sudden turn of events, Dibwa asked, boss? What's going on? El-paume's gaze remained fixed on the now injured man. Just as I expected. What an awful act. Sorry to tell you, but I don't have the habit of trusting people. Upon seeing Dibwa's sudden appearance, William remarked, how strange. To think an uninvited guest would pop up. One of his subordinates interjected, Sir William, he's from the Gaffer Merchant Union. The fact that he's still alive means. With an annoyed expression, William cut him off. I know, Pitten. Looks like that scaredy cat who can't even take his own life has failed. Ah, so annoying. I gave him a chance to make up for losing Lady Kiri. Did I make a mistake? Assessing the situation, he added, since the two of you look strong, we'll have to have our elites take action. Readying themselves to confront William's subordinates, Kiri issued a warning. Be careful, those guys. Dibwa's response was swift. I know. With a mocking expression, he added, they're perverts, right? Furious, William ordered. Now, let's quickly wrap this up. Prepared to face their foes, Dibwa exclaimed confidently. You should be able to take out at least one, right? I'll handle the rest of them. Kiri nodded in agreement. Don't let your guard down. Dibwa swiftly swung his polearm, engaging his enemies in close combat. They exchanged blows, with Dibwa deftly avoiding their melee attacks. From a distance, one of his foes launched a magic arrow towards him, but Dibwa managed to evade it skillfully. As he glanced towards the direction of the arrow, Dibwa exclaimed, that cheap bastard! Seizing the opportunity while Dibwa was distracted, another enemy swiftly launched an attack, but fortunately, it wasn't severe and Dibwa managed to avoid serious injury. The assailant, disappointed by the failed attack, remarked, it was too shallow. He readied himself for another strike, declaring, don't worry, I'll put you out of your misery soon. Meanwhile, Kiri shouted in concern, Brown head, what are you doing? Worried about Dibwa's condition. On the other hand, with a mocking expression, Dibwa confidently remarked, what do you think I'm doing? I'm just toying with him. As he became more serious, his movements became quicker and more precise, swiftly defeating his enemies one after another. Witnessing Dibwa's prowess, one of his enemies couldn't help but exclaim, damn it, how is he so strong? Meanwhile, Kiri managed to push back her opponent, disdain evident in her voice as she remarked, how disappointing. You guys call this elite? As his subordinates fell, William's fury boiled over. He declared, it seems I can't stay back anymore. As he readied a powerful magic arrow. With determination, he added, this is as far as you go. We've wasted too much time on you guys already. Dibwa's eyes widened in realization as he recognized the incoming attack. Fire arrow? He exclaimed. As the arrow approached with startling speed, he continued, what? It's way faster than the boss. As William observed the exploding arrow, he exclaimed, did you let your guard down because it's a fire arrow? My fire arrow is on another level. Well, it's not like you could have dodged it had you known. Thinking he had already won, he added, it's over. We should start clearing the dungeon. But to William's surprise, another figure appeared and neutralized his attack. With a disbelieving expression, he remarked, who in the world are you? As El-paume arrived on the scene with his characteristic calm, he simply exclaimed, here's another guest, pointing towards the reed field. Suddenly, the ribbon pig horde emerged from the field. swiftly overwhelming William and his subordinates, who stood in front of it, unable to fend off the onslaught.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Manga Minute. I'm thrilled to share my latest recap video with you. If you missed the previous one, no worries, just take a quick peek in the description below for the link. Now, let's dive right in and enjoy.
Having dealt with the ribbon pig horde, William gasped for breath and exclaimed, "You're really troublesome, running after throwing something like this at us." Needing an update on their current situation, he shouted, "Gerald!" Gerald, who had just finished dealing with his side, responded promptly, "I'm sorry, Sir William. I'm just finishing up here." Without wasting any time, William ordered, "We don't have time to regroup, so let's chase after him right away." As he calculated their next move, William pondered inwardly, "If they somehow get out of this gate. Oh man, this situation is starting to give me a headache. He's a bothersome person. There's just something about him that..." As they started their pursuit, Gerald suddenly exclaimed, "Sir William, I see footprints over here." William responded, "If you happen to see the cloaked man first, just hold him there. I'll take care of him myself." Gerald hesitated, then said, "Huh? There isn't really a need to do that. I know it's not my place to say, but that guy, he didn't seem like some small fry." Hearing this, William retorted sharply, "Do you know who you're worried about? You know, right?" Wearing a grim expression, he added, "In this gate, it's impossible that there's anyone stronger than me." Meanwhile, as they navigated their way through the dense jungle, Dibwa couldn't help but chuckle. "Did you see their faces at the end? I don't know if they'll survive being trampled by those pigs." El-paume led the way through the dense forest, his eyes constantly scanning their surroundings for any signs of danger. His voice, low and cautious, broke the silence. "They won't die so easily," he said, glancing back at Dibwa. "Besides, you should be careful where you step. There might be traps." Reassuringly, Dibwa said, "I'm on high alert, boss. But why didn't you finish them off then and there? You could have just aimed for an opening and..." El-paume interrupted, his tone firm and unyielding. "Because he's stronger than me." As they continued through the forest, El-paume's thoughts drifted back to their last encounter with William. "That fire arrow," he murmured, the memory of the clash still vivid in his mind. He had realized then that his own magic arrow was no match for William's. My fire arrow barely parried its trajectory. It didn't affect his fire arrow at all. Dibwa, struggling to process this revelation, couldn't contain his disbelief. "Oh, come on. He can't be stronger than you, boss. Stop joking." El-paume's expression remained serious, his voice unwavering. "Joking? Why would I do something like that?" Dibwa laughed nervously, trying to mask his growing unease. "Haha. Then, we really just ran away?" El-paume simply replied, "Yeah." Adjusting his arm cover, El-paume observed the widening circle mark on his wrist. "Looks like the circle has widened to its limit." Considering the implications, he continued, "Depending on its thickness, even when using the same magic, there will be a difference in its speed and power. Since I'm at the peak of the second circle, we should have been equals or even stronger than him." Comparing himself to William, El-paume explained, "However, his magic was something above my understanding. Seeing how he was able to enter this gate, I'm sure he's a second circle as well. No doubt about it. He somehow managed to strengthen his skill. It would be fair to say that he's the strongest adventurer in the gate right now." Hearing the explanation, Dibwa responded with concern, "No way. Then what should we do? Should we try that earlier tactic with Hobs?" Maintaining his calm demeanor, El-paume shook his head. "No, that won't be easy. Hobs are different from those simple ribbon pigs. They could figure out that we're enemies and use that against us." As the conversation going, Kiri interjected with urgency, "Wait, what are you even saying? Do you not understand the situation we're in right now? The important part is that a follower of the Black Magician was hiding within the Cygnus Knights. This holds the fate of Maple World." Proposing a plan, she urged, "We should quickly get to the outside first. You should give up on clearing this gate." El-paume, however, quickly rejected her proposal. "It's pointless," he stated matter-of-factly. Kiri, frustrated by the response, retorted, "I knew you used to be a slave as expected. Are you still after little clear the reward?" Remaining composed, El-paume explained, "After alerting the people outside, then what? Do you really think that's the best way to get rid of these guys? I would suggest not looking down on them." Understanding the nature of these group operations, he added, "These followers have been hiding for hundreds of years, growing their roots. Exposing them does nothing but cut off a branch. We need to dig deeper. If they set their mind on hiding, no one will be able to find them. They'll become a parasite that eats away at the maple world from where no one can see. Kiri, unable to contain her frustration, grabbed El-paume's collar. This won't work. That won't work, she exclaimed, her anger palpable. What the hell do you want us to do then? Shouting in frustration, she continued. Don't spout crap without a plan to back it up. We're being chased right now. We need to get out of here before. However, before she could finish her words, El-paume calmly interrupted. We should let them know who the real hunters are. Running through the dense woods, Shuden, one of William's subordinates, knew the urgency of their mission. Their necks were on the line if they failed to capture their targets. His words were abruptly cut short by the sudden appearance of Dibwa, who swiftly swung his polearm in an attack. However, Shuden managed to evade Dibwa's strike. Meanwhile, Andres attempted to counterattack Dibwa, but his efforts were thwarted by a massive swinging log trap that swept him away. Witnessing his friend being swept away, Shuden shouted, Andres! Undeterred, Dibwa continued his assault, launching another attack at Shuden and taunting. Do you really think you can leisurely look away? Despite Dibwa's relentless attacks, Shuden managed to avoid them and launched a counterattack of his own. However, Dibwa skillfully blocked Shuden's strikes, then abandoned his polearm and relied on his bare hands. He swiftly punched Shuden's cheek and followed up with a blow to his stomach. Dibwa continued his onslaught with a barrage of hits and kicks against Shuden. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, one of Shuden's companions observed the fight, readying her arrows. However, before she could launch her attack, Kiri emerged and attacked her. With a grim expression, Kiri admonished her. You shouldn't be looking away, you trash. I'm already pissed with how things are going. As William confronted El-paume, he observed the unfolding events with a keen eye. With a hint of curiosity in his voice, he remarked, Looks like they've started. Still, there's one thing I'm curious about. Were you waiting for us? With his spell at the ready, William continued, Well, it's fine. We should get started as well. In the heart of the forest, William and El-paume engaged in a fierce magical duel. Spells flew through the air with incredible speed and precision, each combatant dodging and countering with skillful agility. As William launched his magic arrow towards El-paume, the latter deftly avoided the attack and retaliated with a counter arrow of his own. The clash of magical forces created a dazzling spectacle, engulfing the surrounding area in smoke and flames. Through the haze, William watched with keen interest as El-paume managed to evade his assault unscathed. With a mixture of surprise and admiration, he taunted his opponent, questioning the source of his unexpected resilience. El-paume remained composed amidst the chaos, silently preparing to face William's next onslaught. As another arrow hurtled towards him, he swiftly unleashed his own magic, determined to turn the tide of the battle in his favor. Witnessing El-paume's utilization of telekinesis to counter his attack, William's eyes widened in disbelief. Pondering the unexpected turn of events, he muttered, That, using telekinesis to spin the fire arrow? It's like a drill piercing through my magic. I've never seen something like this. Shaken by the revelation, William quickly exclaimed, Unbelievable. To think you strengthened your skill with telekinesis. Now I get it. You are the type that people call a genius. Ha! With a mix of admiration and challenge in his voice, he continued, It's the type that I hate the most. Then, shall we have some more fun? As he launched another magic arrow, he added, Show me more of what you can do. Meanwhile, El-paume, utilizing his telekinetic abilities, fused a rock and used it as a shield to block William's magic arrow. Seeing El-paume's defensive tactic, William couldn't help but mock, Haha, what are you doing? Hide and seek is all that you can come up with. Unbeknownst to William, El-paume had used the rock shield as a distraction, allowing him to swiftly launch his magic arrow, and using his telekinetic ability, El-paume swiftly redirect its trajectory. Growing tired of the game, William retorted, That's enough playing around, as he launched another attack towards El-paume. Reacting quickly, El-paume countered with his revolver magic, resulting in a massive explosion as both magical attacks collided. Amidst the chaos, William chuckled, Ha ha ha, finally, you fired both shots. Realizing that El-paume was on cooldown, William swiftly seized the opportunity to launch another attack, this time, he unleashing a poison breath. Successfully launching his attack, William remarked, "Poison breath is useful, but it leaves you wide open while casting. Aren't you a fire and telekinesis user? I guess that I could seal your attacks if I could force your fire arrow to be on cooldown." As El-paume stood seemingly stunned by the attack, William confidently added, "Now you won't be able to do anything for about 30 minutes. Drawing his blade, he continued, "My fire arrow is on cooldown as well, so forgive me for finishing you off with my dagger." With visible excitement, William declared, "I can't handle the weight. Now, it's my favorite time." He meticulously licked the blade and added, "Oh, I'm so curious to see what your face of despair looks like. Will you tremble? Will you cry? If not, then?" However, just as William was relishing in his impending victory, El-paume's demeanor shifted. With a sudden burst of energy, he launched a swift and unexpected punch directly at William's face, catching him off guard and sending him flying backward. The unexpected turn of events left William stunned, his plans of triumph and domination crumbling before his eyes. As he struggled to regain his composure, El-paume stood firm, ready to continue the fight despite the odds stacked against him. Iburu inquired, "How in the world did you do it? Tell me how you were able to overcome the mad poisonous mushroom's poison. Isn't it okay now that your boss is gone? I'll pay the tab here, so tell me." With a glass on his hand, in response to Iburu's inquiry, Dibwa exclaimed, "It'll be pointless even if I did. That's not something you can do just because you want to." Recalling the event, Dibwa added, "Did he call it room? It's a skill using telekinesis to suck and trap the air. Just when I thought that we were done for, he sucked up all the poison in that large area." With a hint of bragging in his expression, Dibwa continued, "That's it. It's nothing special, right?" Hearing this, Iburu remarked, "Isn't that just cheating?" Dibwa concluded with a smirk, "My boss is a straight-up cheat character." El-paume, sensing the shift in momentum, abandoned his magic staff and resorted to using his fists as weapons. Seizing the opportunity, he launched a relentless barrage of punches and kicks towards William. William, overwhelmed by the sudden and brutal assault, struggled to comprehend the situation. Despite the poison he had inflicted, El-paume moved with surprising agility and strength. William's mind raced, desperately trying to understand how El-paume could still be fighting with such vigor. Unable to mount a counterattack, he became little more than a punching bag, absorbing blow after blow. The relentless onslaught left William reeling, his thoughts muddled and his body battered, as El-paume's fists rained down upon him without mercy. As El-paume relentlessly pursued William, he seized the moment of vulnerability and sent him flying towards a nearby tree with a powerful strike. Swiftly, he followed up with a precise magic arrow that severed William's left arm. However, William, undeterred, countered with another poison breath attack, only for El-paume to neutralize it using his room magic. However, William, undeterred by his injury, retaliated with a cunning move. While El-paume anticipated a retrieval attempt for his fallen staff, William used the distraction of his poisoned breath to conceal a devastating magic arrow attack. The unexpected strike caught El-paume off guard, piercing through his defenses and striking him from behind. As El-paume lay wounded on the ground, he realized his mistake. Underestimating William's arsenal of abilities, he lamented his lapse in judgment. The revelation of William's hidden flame orb served as a harsh reminder of the dangers lurking within the 100-Man Gate. Despite his regression, El-paume couldn't escape the consequences of his oversight. As a massive explosion rocked the surroundings, Dibwa's attention wavered momentarily. "Boss!" Meanwhile, Kiri's voice cut through the chaos. "Stop playing around and finish it. His opponent is too much for him to handle alone." Startled by the shout, Dibwa replied, "That's what I was going to do." However, before Dibwa could execute his strike, an unexpected arrow pierced through the air, striking his adversary first. With a grim realization, Dibwa turned his gaze to the emerging horde of green Hobs, their menacing presence adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding conflict. As the horde of green Hobs emerged, Dibwa exclaimed, "I was wondering why they weren't showing up." Drawing her sword, Kiri observed, "Is that a green Hob? Focus up, we'll quickly finish things up here." Dibwa cautioned, "Don't look down on them. They aren't so easy to deal with." Assessing the situation, he added, "Besides, there's a weird one mixed in with them." Gasping for breath, William remarked, "That damned bastard. Is he finally dead?" Struggling to regain his composure, William's labored breaths were punctuated by the sight of blood as it stained the ground beneath him. "That's right, I'll acknowledge you. You weren't half bad," he managed between coughs. "To think you'd drive me to this point. Should I have at least asked for his name before killing him?" A voice, firm and unwavering, cut through the air. "El-paume." William's disbelief was palpable as he retorted, "No way!" Emerging from behind the veil of smoke and flames, El-paume stepped forward, his presence solidified. "Remember it well, since it's the last name you'll hear while alive." Despite his injuries, William scoffed defiantly, his tone laced with disdain. "Haha, you cockroach-like bastard. How pointless. Even if you try to bluff your way out of this, your abilities aren't." El-paume's interjection cut William's words short. "Yeah, I gave up on that." With a mana stone clasped tightly in his hand, El-paume's eyes gleamed with determination. Despite the odds stacked against him, he knew that absorbing the mana stone was his only chance at survival. With practiced skill, he channeled the energy of the stone, feeling its power surge through him. William, in his arrogance, mocked El-paume's attempt, belittling his efforts as futile. But El-paume remained undeterred, his resolve unshaken. With a quiet confidence, he absorbed the mana stone, his eyes alight with determination. As William prepared to launch his final assault, El-paume's response was swift and decisive. With a combination of fire magic and telekinesis, he unleashed a devastating attack that overwhelmed his opponent. The sheer force of El-paume's magic was too much for William to withstand, and he was swiftly defeated. In the aftermath of the battle, as El-paume surveyed the remnants of his enemies, a fleeting thought crossed his mind. He realized that in the heat of battle, he had forgotten to ask for William's name. But in the end, it mattered little. The victory was his, and he stood triumphant amidst the chaos of the battlefield. Kiri supported Dibwa with her shoulder, hiding from the horde of green Hobs. As they crouched behind the bush, she contemplated. Things are starting to get complicated. In the heart of the chaotic battle, Dibwa moved with precision and skill, his polearm cutting through the ranks of the green Hob warriors with ease. With each strike, he counted under his breath, his focus unwavering even amidst the chaos. 16. 17, he muttered, his determination driving him forward. Meanwhile, Kiri watched in astonishment as Dibwa effortlessly dispatched his foes. She couldn't help but marvel at his skill, noting to herself, "What? He's taking care of these monsters so easily." But just as it seemed victory was within reach, a sudden surge of magic from the boss of the green Hobs caught Dibwa off guard. His focus momentarily faltered as he registered the unexpected attack. "That? How can a monster?" he thought, his mind racing to comprehend how a mere monster could wield such power. From her concealed position, Kiri pondered the unexpected turn of events. "A monster using an item. This complicates things," she muttered, frustration evident in her tone. As she formulated her next steps, her thoughts turned to El-paume. Is hiding my only option until I can rendezvous with El-paume? I just hope he's still alive. Despite her efforts to remain hidden behind a towering tree, one of the green Hob warriors detected her presence. Swiftly evading capture, Kiri found herself burdened with the unconscious form of Dibwa. With enemies hot on her trail, she prepared to stand her ground, sword at the ready. Engaged in battle, Kiri faced the advancing enemies with a mixture of grit and apprehension. "This one and the other one, they both are such a handful," she observed, her resolve unwavering even in the face of adversity. Yet, as the formidable boss of the green Hobs emerged, unleashing a powerful magic attack, Kiri quickly revised her assessment. "As long as it's not that one," she realized, recognizing the immense challenge posed by the enemy leader. In the midst of the chaos, Kiri, with quick reflexes, dodged the incoming magic attack from the monster boss, pulling the fainted Dibwa along with her. However, the attack hit the ground with immense force, creating a massive explosion. As the smoke cleared, Dibwa regained consciousness, his determination unwavering as he readied himself to face the boss monster. With his polearm in hand, Dibwa charged into the sea of green Hobs, swiftly dispatching them one by one with precise strikes. But the monster boss, witnessing the destruction of his minions, retaliated with a powerful magic attack aimed at Dibwa. In a daring move, Dibwa leaped into the air, evading the attack and launching himself towards the boss monster. With a swift swing of his polearm, he struck the monster, severing its face in a decisive blow. Enraged and in pain, the monster boss prepared to launch another magic attack at Dibwa. However, Kiri intervened, bravely stepping in to face the threat head-on. As the monster boss unleashed its spell, El-paume appeared just in time, countering the attack with his own magic and neutralizing the threat. With the immediate danger averted, El-paume's timely intervention earned him a sense of relief. It was clear that his presence had turned the tide of the battle in their favor. As he managed to neutralize the threat, El-paume exclaimed, "Looks like I'm not too late." As Lonko stood guard outside the gate, a feeling of restlessness crept over him. "It's been 4 days already, and still no sign of them," he muttered to himself. "I was enjoying the chance to relax and make some coin, but my body's itching for action. Lounging around just doesn't suit me. No more defense missions for me." Suddenly, a ruckus broke out, jolting Lonko from his thoughts. Why's it so noisy?" he wondered aloud. Before he could investigate further, the gate he was protecting shattered into pieces, leaving Lonko stunned. "What's that?" Rushing towards the wreckage, Lonko called out, "Kite! What's going on? Report the situation." "Kite," one of his comrades responded urgently. "Go and call the bishop. Some people have returned alive." Lonko, seeing how the gate was disappearing, the raid was. Lonko couldn't believe his ears. They returned? Jolted awake, El-paume looked around in confusion. "This place is?" Lonko, seated not too far from El-paume, responded sternly, "Looks like you've come to your senses." With a commanding tone, he continued, "Listen up. You should answer truthfully to what I'm about to ask. Looks like only the 3 of you from the Garfa merchants were the survivors out of all those who went in." El-paume struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. "Only 3? I had a guess. But it seems like everyone died." Trembling from the memories of the ordeal, El-paume recounted, "A demon! There was a demon inside." His voice shook with fear as he continued, "Can you lend me a pen and paper? I'll draw it for you. I don't know what it's called, but..." Inside a tense meeting among the representatives of the merchant unions, voices filled the air with disbelief and frustration. "That doesn't make any sense. 100 total people. And they were all aces representing each merchant union," one exclaimed. "Even if it's a 100-man gate, isn't it just a red gate in the end?" Another responded. "Are you expecting us to believe that they all fell to the monsters?" Someone else chimed in incredulously. Another voice added, "They shouldn't even sweat facing any of the monsters in the red gate." Toriel from the Sky Merchant Union, visibly enraged, interjected, "My cousin was amongst them." However, Lonko remained calm amidst the chaos. Displaying a drawing of the monster inside the gate, he calmly stated, "It doesn't seem like he was lying. This is what he said the boss of the 100-man gate looked like." As the representatives examined the drawing, murmurs began to stir. "A green hob? If it's a green hob, aren't they the monsters that are able to use items? I heard that they are so intelligent that if it was a fight on a large scale, it'd be no different than fighting a human army." Another added, "To have only 100 people go up against that thing, it wouldn't have been easy." Came another voice, acknowledging the gravity of the situation. Franco, representing the Goldrich merchant, expressed his disbelief. I can't accept this at all. I don't know about the others, but there is no chance that our Natasha would fall to something like that?" Lonko, unfazed, responded, "What are you trying to say?" Franco voiced his suspicion. Are you really asking because you don't know? It's troubling. None of this makes sense unless someone backstabbed them from the inside. Isn't there no way for us to figure out the situation inside the gate? Someone could easily take advantage of that, whether it be premeditated or not. It also seems that the 3 that survived were from the same group. Feeling the suspicion fall on him, Abyss, the representative of the Gaffer Merchant Union, countered. "So, are you saying that Gaffer betrayed everyone? I can't listen to this crap any longer. Isn't it simply that our side just happened to have someone who became a third circle and survived, while the rest didn't?" Annoyed, Franco responded, "Are you trying to say that our merchant union's adventurers aren't as good as Gaffers?" With a mocking expression, Abyss replied. Trying or not, I'm just stating things as they are. Franco retorted. How laughable. If Gaffer really had that many talents, you guys wouldn't be placed dead last within the 10 great merchant unions. Abyss shot back confidently. It's because we're new. We'll be climbing up the rankings soon. So keep your seats clean. Challenging Abyss further, Franco continued. Ahem. Since you're saying all this, you must have proof, right? Mocking him further, Abyss responded. Proof? We didn't bring any items out from the gate. We don't have any motive. Do you understand? Bidding his farewell, El-paume remarked. Then I'll head back. Thank you for treating me. Lonko responded. All right, take care of yourself. Observing the exchange, Kite whispered. Lonko, is it okay to let them leave just like that? Assuring his subordinates, Lonko responded. Didn't we already come to a conclusion? Observing the snail that followed them from inside the gate, Kiri exclaimed. Who? Would you look at that? It really followed us. Noticing El-paume's hesitation, Kiri remarked. Why are you hesitating? We've already taken care of the followers of the Black Magician and cleaned up the Green Hob and his minions. Now we just have to discard all the items and hurt each other a bit before we leave. Right? El-paume contemplated silently, acknowledging the significance of the item they had acquired from defeating the boss. The phoenix's feather held immense potential. That's right. Kill the boss and throw away the item. However, the item that it held, it was Phoenix's feather. Just holding it can increase the output of your fire magic by 30%, and unlike the other items that don't stack, this one is an item that can have its effects stacked. The reason why the adventurers were wiped out here previously. I think I understand now. This is an unexpected gain. I have to take this out with me no matter what. Kiri's reminder pulled him back to reality, emphasizing the importance of sticking to their original plan to avoid suspicion. El-paume nodded in agreement, realizing the necessity of discretion in their actions, especially concerning unregistered items. However, their attention was diverted by an unexpected sight. A snail? Kiri exclaimed, curiosity evident in her voice. Pet snail, unlike the other snail monsters, it doesn't have any attack power but tends to sniff out and collect items. The more items it collects, the larger its shell becomes. It's a life form that was found after the gate was opened in El-paume's previous life. Kiri, directing her inquiry to El-paume, exclaimed, You ended up bringing it out without getting caught. How did you know about the snail's use? El-paume responded, I thought it would be better to try something than just leaving empty-handed. Hearing his explanation, Kiri pressed further. Now what? I did as you've said. What are you planning on doing now? El-paume advised, Don't be in a hurry. Since they've made their way inside Cygnus Knights as well, we should be careful gathering intel. If we aren't cautious, they could go deeper into hiding. Then, they should have returned already, so let's wait. Genis, Merdia, Dig, Goldrich, El Nido, and Sky, they've all been wiped out. It's a failed raid. The mysterious man seethed with rage. Kneeling before her superior, the female subordinate responded. It said that they were wiped out by the boss monster, failing the raid, and only the 3 from Gaffer barely made it out alive. There were suspicions of treachery during the meeting, but it was Gaffer that was questioned, not us. Even that was overthrown as there was insufficient evidence. Thankfully, we weren't exposed, despite the mission being a failure. I'll prepare for the next mission. The man inquired further. They weren't caught, the subordinate replied. Our plan was to wipe out all parties and kill the boss ourselves. Then, at least one of the 3 that survived has surely seen William. But there was nothing like that in the reports that El-paume submitted. But is there really a need for him to hide it? Even if he did, since we had people in multiple merchant unions, it'll be hard for them to point out our merchant union. A reason to hide it. The man continued to ponder. What if he realized that the one behind this is not just a merchant union but us, the followers of that person? They would be the only party that would know of Sir Black Magician's followers' return. With panic etched on her faces, the subordinates exclaimed, No way! If that's the truth, we're in danger. What if he decides to spread that information? We need to cut off all the members that infiltrated the merchant unions before things get out of hand. Excitement spread across the man's face as he remarked, Invitation. Ha ha ha. Is it an invitation? Interesting. I'll accept it. However, it'll be best to pick out a different stage, so that they can be the 101st guests.